What's up, Union Arena players? This is Kyle D, better known as Universities, and today we are going over basically don't let FOMO win on some of these cards. We're going to kind of look at the new stuff that came out with, Bleach and Black Clover, and then look at JJK Volume 2. So without further ado, let's dive in the video and talk about it. So the big thing, Red Riot Games, if you guys really want to, there's a $5,000 cash prize event. July 26, 2025, 96 player capacity in Canada. So if you guys are really wanting to do that, go for it. There's nothing wrong with that. They also have great supplies in the trading card department. They have a lot of good singles on release. They're pretty good, especially if you're a Canadian player and you need some product. They're really, really good about their prices and stuff like that. So they're consistently matching TCG medium. So you'll have a good shot at it, to be honest with you. But they also do great blog posts, and they kind of go over some information that you might want to talk about. So, yeah. And they also have great playmats if you guys are really into playmats. Oh. And they released a whole bunch. They got Alice, Asta, Asuna, Asuna and Kirito, Bakugo. Just a lot of good playmats for you guys to enjoy. So, yeah. So let's start it off. We have Ichigo Kurosaki from Bleach Thousand Year Blood War Volume 2, being probably one of the most powerful cards for the purple Bleach decks. And look at it, it's at $5. This is proving a point that, let's be honest, that the Volume 2s, just even for base rarities, are dirt cheap, even though this is probably one of the more contender decks to being tier 1 next to Purple Code right now. I don't know if you guys really think about it. It's just one of those things that lead into, are you going to be paying these screwy prices for nothing? $6.39. Okay. Now you have Orihime rare 1-stars are at 30s, 35s. Yeah, that's a little pricey, but I would not be surprised. This is just waifu tax up the rear, and she is the color trigger of the most of the decks that you play in blue, besides, the 2 AP action point. And do we really like those? Not very often, unless there's some big payoff. But your Orihime alts are at 30s. There is going to be usually one card per set with the alts that lead into being more pricier than the others, and usually it's because it has a waifu tax attached to it. Senjimaru holding strong for $17.30 going down. Wouldn't be surprised if this thing keeps going down further and gets lower than expected. I think being at $19.72 is not terrible. Ichigo super rare 1-star. This one's from Volume 2 as well. We're at 19s, holding strong there. So again, it started at 30s, guys, and look at it now. It's at 18s. Just patience is the name of the game for most of these decks. Bombietta rare 1-stars are at $14.22 going down, guys, and started at 18 not too long ago. So it does prove that this game does fall pretty quickly. And if you guys wait 2 weeks, usually you can just max rare your deck for a lot cheap. Toshiro Hitsugaya rare 1-stars are at $14 climbing. So this one started a little bit lower, which is good, and then it spiked up. But does it always happen like that? No, not really. So just taking an even looking like Giselle's super rare 1-stars are at 9s, 10s. And again, this is like the heart and soul of the deck that just makes it so you can play yellow Bleach in a high competitive fashion. Yoruichi uncommon 1-star down to 8s. This thing was sitting at 14s, 12s. Then you do have Kenpachi Zaraki super rare 1-stars. This is down to 10s going down. Ikaku common 1-stars are down to 9s. It just proves over time these things come down. Oryu rare 1-stars are at $5.25. Another card for the yellow decks in Bleach, and it's just dirt cheap. Mayori super rare 1-stars are at $6.30. Yamakichi's common 1-stars are at $5 going down. Again, cards that are just gonna come to cheap just because they can. Nemu is at uncommon 1-stars are under $7 right now. And again, this will all just keep going down and down and down and down. Then you have Shinji rare 1 stars are under $2. Then you have Rukia super rare 3 stars. Not many sales at the 900 mark. We've only sold at 500s. And again, she's a big chase card. I did pull her, and I sold her for at least 575 just to get some decent profit. But you know, it's really cool to see cards like this, and at the same time, you never know what the end result's going to be and what value you kind of get. Rukia super rare 2 stars are at 200, and I think she's selling close to that. Yeah, she sells comfortably at the $200 range. You know, we do have Ichigo Kurosaki super rare 2 stars at 175s. Again, like, there are going to be some cards that are going to have some decent value, like Byakuya is at 153. Long-term wise, do I expect them to sell that long? No. Renjis are at, you know, $95. And again, like, there was people that were saying, oh no, you should be selling them for 140 on release. If you're lucky and you got, you know, when they were like 300 and you were selling to 140, you made some decent profit. But this thing has tanked. It's one of those things that you just look at cards, and Renji is just not the big fan favorites. So Renji is going to go down. You know, Ichigo Kurosaki, just for its blue card, started strong at 17s. Look at this thing now, $3.10. You know, Kenpachi Zaraki's at $2.45. Just Renji Abarai is $2.50. You have Rukia Kuchiki at $2.52. Again, a lot of these cards just sells under $1. You have Asta looking at being the big boy of the set, $12.38, going up a little bit. People are starting to learn how to adapt with the deck, but it's just Mimosa just holding strong at 10s. You know, people were saying crazy you're putting her at like 11 12s on a pre-release. I valued her at that because she was going to sit at 10. She is the most cognitive piece. Either you play her at 4 in one list, 4 in another, or 2 in the red pool. There's like 3 different versions of the deck, and Mimosa is somewhere in shape of quantity of 2 to 4 copies in those lists. So yeah, next to Asta, Mimosa's kind of next, and you know, she's waifu taxed. You got Noelle at $8.20. You know, she was sitting at $20. Hopefully you guys moved them when she was 20 and people were snagging them at that, because she is now down to 9s. So then you do have Dante's under $3. So yeah, if you guys have this is pretty decent. Xenon is under $1. Might be worth picking up personally for me, because I don't mind owning some Dark Triad stuff if I already have it. Unos are $1.64 going down. You do have Nakshit. This guy I haven't actually seen in the anime or heard his name, so yeah, $4, 5s. Yeah, that's just how this goes. Asta purple is $1.70. You know, $1.77 is not bad. You know, Yami's for green is 60 cents going down. You know, Yami purple is under $1 as well. Again, these cards are dirt cheap. Byakuya Kuchiki, 50 cents. You know, Mayori, 23 cents. Shinon, looking at this, Sword Art Online, more recent set, $6.50. Kirito, $6. Again, remember this thing being 24 on release? Yeah, this thing has dropped to under its $8 mark, 10s to 6s. Now you have Asuna. She's been holding strong in the 10s for the longest time, but she started at 21. She has tanked so much. Asuna, the goddess version, $3.60, had a spike up to 8 when it was really one of the more popular decks to use. Kirito green is $6.50. Yeah, Bombietta, that's at, you know, climbing like crazy. We are moving up to, you know, past $2 mark at this point. People are buying this because Yellow Bleach actually has some legs to stand on. So it's just something to keep an eye out on, and just understand that you'll definitely get some money out of it. Ichigo Kurosakis are at $6.64 to $7.95. You know, Kenpachi Zaraki is at 2s. This thing had a spike for a little bit at 3s. You know, Toshiro Hitsugaya, we reached, like, we're holding strong in the $6 range. We have some under for $4.77. But, you know, Yuji Itadori spiking up. We're up to 11s on this card. You know, Yugo Symphysis 32, $1.08. You know, Maki Zenin holding strong at 5s. You got Alice Symphysis 30. We are at $1. You have Kento Namami. Now this is where we're gonna just tell you don't buy pre-sales, because why would we? We are at $15. Not worth it. Gojo, $15. No. Sukuna Super Rare 3 stars. It's numeric. There's only going to be 100 of this 3-star version. I can see this one holding a little bit of value, but at the same time, are you going to invest into it? You know, Sukuna Super Rare 2-star for the 7 cost is $500. Not going to be worth it. Did we just do this twice? I hate myself. Yeah. Nope. 100. This one. Yeah, I did this twice. Wow. Nubara's 15 for red. Gojo Rare 1-star, $30. No, and no. This won't hold that value. I'm sorry. Toji is a rare 1-star, $30. No. Kento Nami Rare 1-star. No, not 30. No one's gonna. Again, if you wait till next week, these things will be already undercutting everybody. You know, Gojo Super Rare 1-star, $200. Not happening. No one's paying that. This ain't worth it. Geto Rare 1-star, $30. No. Yuji Itadori, $15 for the red one. Sukunas are at $15. No, not for the 7 cost. This thing's going to be like $1. Just a lot of players will not be playing this big version unless they make another version that's going to be more competitive. You know, Geto, $15. And Megumin, under $15. There are so many super rares that are overly priced, and you're just going to see them tank to these, you know, under $1 mark very comfortably. And it's sad when you guys look at it, you know, $3, $2, you know, $1, 12s, 10s, 8s, you know. Again, players, you should save your wallet on some of these. Don't buy the hype pre-sales. And I really do, hopefully you guys use the affiliate link down below to help support the channel, no extra cost. That TCG player link will do something if you guys decide to buy anything. It's a way of supporting the channel. But hopefully guys enjoyed the video. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Stay safe, stay healthy. Don't catch you next one. Peace.